Fast reload activated.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we are reviewing or revisiting one of the ships that I have reviewed a long time ago, and I figured it'd be worth taking another look, and that is the mighty, the HMS Warspite. This ship was actually built during the First World War. This is the First World War battleship. But she had a very, very colorful career around anywhere in the Second World War, from the Mediterranean theater up to Norway. And in Norway specifically, the Germans had invaded, and the British were rather unhappy about that. Well, for obvious reasons, but they were rather unhappy about that because of morale as well. So they decided to hit the German invasion force at Narvik with the Navy, in order to, regain, at least to score some points, let me put it this way. And part of that flotilla that was attacking the Germans in Narvik was the Warspite, together with HMS Furious, which is the Tier 6 aircraft carrier, which we're also going to be taking a look at next week probably, and a whole bunch of destroyers. Now, the Warspite had a float plane on board, and that float plane was a Fairey Swordfish. And I've kind of been talking about the Swordfish just a little bit, but the Swordfish is always one of these ships that one of these planes that really fascinated me because, well, first of all, obviously, the big sinking of the Bismarck disabling the rudder and things, but why were the British flying around basically open cockpit biplanes in the Second World War? What gives? So the Fair Swordfish was actually a very, very versatile little bomber. It was a reconnaissance torpedo bomber, a reconnaissance bomber. So this thing was actually meant both for reconnaissance operations and for mostly torpedo bombing operations, but she could also be fitted with bombs or bomblets for other attacks. They did call her affectionately the string bag, pretty much because like a handbag, you could put almost anything on that plane. Now, they were relatively slow because they were old biplanes. They did have a metal frame, but a cloth canvas skin around it, and they were successful if they were most of the time if they were flying without a lot of opposition. So once there would be fighter cover, then these things would be hopelessly outclassed. But if they could operate by themselves, they were quite neat because they, due to their low speed and maneuverability, they could actually launch from a carrier without having to put the carrier into the wind. So, for example, in the Pacific battles, you see that a lot, that the carrier commanders have to take the wind positioning into account, and in order to launch their air wings, actually have to turn the carrier into the wind, such that they have headwind, such that there's more lift generated from the planes in order to get off the landing deck. Not a problem the Fairey Swordfish had, because you could land these from a stationary carrier in calm weather, or start these from a stationary carrier. These were very forgiving little things, and the British were quite fond of them, and it took them a long time to replace them. But this particular Swordfish was a float plane, and she was launched from the Warspite, because this was the Warspite's float plane. She did first the reconnaissance mission, and actually spotted a German submarine in the harbor, and immediately bombed and sunk it. This was the I think the only instance where in the war where a submarine was destroyed by a float plane launched from a battleship. Either the only or the first, I can't quite remember. But she then proceeded to spot the German destroyers, and they realized very quickly that, the British realized very quickly that the Germans were actually pretty much out of fuel and ammunition, because this was already the second Battle of Narvik. They had already had a destroyer-on-destroyer engagement. So now it was just a matter for Warspite to lay down on these guys, and they did wreak absolute havoc onto the enemy ships with the float plane spotting for the Warspite, and the British having minimal losses and the Germans having relatively heavy losses, to the point that I think the Kriegsmarine was running low on destroyers at this moment because they had lost so much during the Norwegian invasion. Didn't help with the Norway invasion, obviously, but it made up a little bit for the British pride, I guess, in the end. So yeah, that was the Fairy Swordfish launched from HMS Warspite. There are many, many more stories we can tell about Warspite, but let's have a quick look at the ship in game. Honestly, I can't remember what I said about her last time because it's been years. So we'll look at this with fresh eyes, and we'll start out, because I keep forgetting those, with the elite bonus. You get two choices. You get either hit points, AA and torpedo damage reduction, or you get main battery firing range. Now, the dispersion on the Warspite isn't great. At range, you get lucky if you get one shot in. And this is probably, and I honestly really can't remember why I did this, but this was probably why I picked the other bonus here, which gives us more hit points and a bit more AA. Because the Warspite here in game doesn't have an awful lot of AA if we compare her to the Queen Elizabeth. So let's do that quickly. Because the Warspite is a Queen Elizabeth class ship, but she is, I think, in the older configuration, because she still has the 150mm secondary. So we'll get to that in a sec. So both of them get the Rapid Reload 1 skill. The Warspite has a tick more health, but it's not much. The big difference, the huge difference here between the Warspite and the Queen Elizabeth is the maneuverability. Because she comes with a turn time on the rudder, a base turn time of 11 seconds, and a traverse speed of 6.4 degrees per second. This ship steers like a cruiser almost. She is very, very maneuverable. The guns are different on the Warspite, even though they are obviously exactly the same guns. But the Queen Elizabeth gets the Tech Tree British guns, which are better on the high explosive and also tend to have a better high explosive penetration. The Warspite's guns are more on the armor piercing. You can switch over to the high explosive if you need to. Like if you're shooting at destroyers, she still has a very good high explosive. But the AP on these guns is pretty good as well. And definitely worth using most of the times. Like I said, she still has the 152mm secondaries, which have a range of 5 kilometers. And these are armor-piercing only secondaries, so it's very similar to the Bayern in that regard. And she gets in 102mm auto secondaries, whereas the Queen Elizabeth has the 113mm secondaries, which are probably dual purpose at this point. Because the large caliber AA damage on the Queen Elizabeth is significantly better than on the Warspite, also with a better range. So I would assume that's what these 113 mils come in. Other than that, concealment-wise, she's a bit worse than the Queen Elizabeth, but not by much. Yeah, like I said, the big difference here is in the maneuverability. This ship steers very, very well. I actually don't have the historical camo on this ship, but if you do, you get more hit points, you get more range, you get better dispersion on the mains, which is great because the mains are not massively precise, and you get more torpedo damage reduction, which, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, for a tier 6, it's really not terrible. Her armor isn't bad either. This is still a ship from the time when, you built them sturdy. And so that's not bad. Equipment-wise, I am using the main battery mod 1 here because the turrets only have a 4.5 degrees per second base traverse, and the ship has a very, very good turning circle. So you outturn your guns very rapidly. So even with this, because that gets us up to 5.4 degrees per second. which is still less than what the actual ship can do. So we're still outturning, but not as terribly anymore. I do have the propulsion mod in slot 2, because I tend to play this more like a little bit almost more like a super heavy cruiser than a battleship. And I have the steering in slot 3. The commander, he is he's actually from the Queen Elizabeth. I don't think I have a dedicated commander. I'm playing with this guy. You can play with, for example, Beatty works as well, or if you have any of the legendary captains. But for now, I've just used the regular commander here. You definitely want the Fire of Supremacy, and down the road you probably want the Master Reloader as well. But that's the same thing you do on the tech tree, so that's very good. They are actually quite compatible in that regard. That you can reuse the commanders for this. All right, for today we're just going to sail with the Seaborne Assault Camo as a standard, because this is one of those ships. I actually don't play her that often, because I don't play tier 6 all that often. So I haven't gotten around to purchasing the premium camo, the historical camo for the ship yet. But it's worth it if you play her a lot. It's a good ship, that. A very good ship, that. All right. Anything I forgot to mention? No, I think that's it. Let's play a little bit and show her in action a bit more. In the first battle, we're playing Domination on New Dawn. I like that map. And we're up against an Independence. It's a carrier battle. Agincourt, New York, König, Kotowski, a Fubuki, and a T-22. Now, mid-tier battles, don't be too critical. They always get a bit funky. That is normal. But where are we spawning? Okay, we're spawning over here. The Warspite is one of those ships, like the tech tree British battleships, that you don't necessarily need to be super concerned about destroyers, especially with the Warspite's maneuverability, and she still has the good high explosive. And I am switching over to the high explosive because I'm fully expecting, given that it's mid-tier, that everyone's just going to sail straight forward, which means that Podvoisky and Acasta are going to run into one of the destroyers. And the carrier is also scouting, so I'm just getting the guns ready to blast the destroyer. And even if you shoot at other things, the HE isn't terrible on the Warspite. So whichever ammunition type you're using, and yeah, as predicted, there's the enemy destroyer. It's the Z-22. Let's give him the good news. Let's get all the guns on target. Hello. The dispersion isn't great, but let's see if we can. Yeah, we still got 2 hits in. So now we turn bow in again, and you see the maneuverability on this ship. It is really, really excellent. Now these two are at least using their guns. That's already something. But the T-22 hasn't yet quite learned not to sail in a straight line. So we are punishing him a bit more, and he's now down to 2 health. They're trying to torpedo him. Given that he's running away, they're obviously never going to hit. But the T-22 is now sailing behind an island, is shooting armor piercing at me, which I can't remember. I think these are low caliber guns, so the high explosive might actually be a better choice. But yeah, he's coming around the corner, so I'm putting her into reverse in case he will get torpedoes away. And now that's an X-destroyer, because at this range that happens. So back to the armor piercing. If I can actually hit the button, there we go. I don't even think he got torpedoes away. Poor little fellow. Yeah, too aggressive. We've got a Kotowski, so primary target, because he's obviously shooting at my destroyers. So let's see if we can dissuade him from doing that and just get shots out. At long range, Warspite isn't doing a great deal. Well, it was 7 hits, okay, and half a Kotowski gone, so RNGesus giveth, but RNGesus also taketh away. And yeah, let's get another shot. He hasn't learned his lesson yet, so let's get another shot out, and then we'll see if we can help out around the other corners, because there are 2 battleships in the center. Well, 3 hits, 3 more hits, and run, Acasta, run away. Just stop shooting. I got this. Let's delete the König over there. The German, who's not even looking my way. Good night. And then the New York is next. The Kotowski is so far out of range at this point that I'm not even going to start chasing after him. If he's still left at the end of the battle, then maybe we can do something. Okay, the Podvoisky is going to try and torpedo the New York, but it's going to find out the hard way that New Yorks are quite sturdy. And now he's out of torpedoes, he's running away, so let's see if we can help him out and delete the New York. And almost. But I think there's not much. Yeah, the Independence kills him. There's not much left. There's the enemy carrier. There's one destroyer around somewhere. And there's that Kotovsky, who was last seen back on this island. So now that everything is, the threat in the center is eliminated, the destroyers are safe from anything, and I can go chase after that Kotovsky, and because the Independence is down somewhere there as well. Oh, hello, there he is. Okay, you don't want to be broadside in a cruiser with me shooting these guns. He's a little bit faster than I thought, actually. But yeah, I do have the rapid reload, so it's not the ideal timing, but I'm just gonna go for it. And he's still not realizing that this is a bad idea. So I'm just going to sink him. That's that. And I think that was it. What's left? There's one destroyer who's going after our carrier and has just found out that he's run out of friends, and the enemy carrier who's all the way in the bottom. In the southwestern corner of the map, with one destroyer hot on his heels, which is fair enough because the destroyers have captured B Cap. Well done, destroyers on my team, really. They've captured B. They have, they've dealt with the battleships, and now it's time to just grab the carrier down there. But yeah, the Warspite is just an all-around excellent ship due to the maneuverability. Oftentimes you can even do things like dive under... Oh, we lost our carrier. That's a shame. It would have been a Rothelstomp medal. Because you can often even dive under enemy battleships' salvos, because 3 is just that maneuverable. That is really one of the big upsides. Okay, let's see if my team can manage to kill these. That was a bit of a short battle. And just the enemy carrier should be down in a sec, and I think that that destroyer up there, yeah, Icarus takes out the Independence, and that just leaves the destroyer up north, and that's that. Congo takes him out. Done. Yeah, let's do another one. Maybe we get to play a little bit longer, but yeah. In tier 6. She's a really, really good ship. She's up there with things like the Black Bayan and the Black New Mexico, in my opinion. And in this second battle, we are up against not a Musashi, that is confusing. No, against the Black New Mexico, as I just mentioned. Congo, New York, Nicholas, and a Minikaze, who knows probably what they're doing. Maybe, we'll find out. But we will see. We will see how we're going to be doing. And it's Bay of Storms, so we are conspicuously low on cruisers, which means that I'm going to have to switch over to the high explosive on occasion and see if we can do something about the destroyers. Okay, Mutski, Minikaze is a decent ship. It's got lots of torpedoes, fast reload. Okay, we've got the Piotr Veliki, we've got the Mutski over here. Mutski needs to scout, and unfortunately he doesn't. So where are you going? Not sure where you're going, but I'm not going out there unless you go and scout. You. Oh, there. That's not where the enemy is. That's where our capture circle is. Look, I've done the capture circle videos, all right? If that only... Yes, it's good to be in the cup, but not if it's our home base. Okay, I'm spotted. That's an enemy destroyer. So it's either the Minikaze or whatever was that other thing. So I am going to have to slow down at this point. It's the Minikaze, okay. So let's empty our barrels at that thing, get ready to switch over to the high explosive, and shots out. Now I am reversing because I have been spotted already, and I can't remember what the torpedo range on the Minikaze is, but most likely there are torpedoes in the water, because the yeah, there they come. Mutski actually spotted the torps, nicely done. But that's exactly why I am reversing, because, you know, I knew there was going to be torpedoes in the water. Okay, shots out at the Minikaze from this range. We're probably not going to be hitting him, and we're moving forward again. Back to the armor piercing, because we are not going to be hitting the Minikaze from this range. So we want to be having to deal with the battleships in first. There is a single bot in this game, so that happens, unfortunately. Not much we can do about it. But it looks like friendly torpedoes are finding their mark as well back there from the Mutski, so that's good. And yeah, we can do these kind of things to the New York easily through the deck armor at long range. And there's the Minikaze again. So we're doing the same game, are we? Okay, I'm going to slow down. I'm not going to even use the armor piercing against you because that's almost going in. Overpen, high explosive out, slow down. He's turning away. So this is the moment he's launched his torpedoes, which means that they're probably all going to miss me. Although they might be actually aimed at the battleship behind me, who doesn't seem to have figured this kind of thing out just yet. Okay, Almutski is torping the bot. That means the bot is dead. And I'm going to try and shoot at the Minikaze again. Oh, no, I want to log on the Minikaze. Full range, high explosive out because I've got it loaded. And 4 hits, not bad. Half the Minikaze gone. And we shot something off. I haven't paid attention what it was, but we shot something off. So that should at least have maybe triggered a Damacon. Now the Minikaze is gone unspotted again because he's not an idiot. And the New York is now finding that he has run out of friends because that Black New Mexico is sitting back there. Okay, the Minikaze is torping someone else because he has realized that I understand where how torpedoes work. So yeah, that New York's dead. So we can start shooting at the Black New Mexico over there because that guy's dangerous. Black New Mexico is a very dangerous ship. So let's see if we can get some fire out on that thing. And okay, we've lost our Mutski. Because he's gotten a little bit over-eager, I think. And the Minikaze is back. Okay. Do the same thing again. Full-on reverse. I'm just going to unload the armor-piercing at the Black New Mexico and then switch over to the high-explosive using the rapid reload. That is a reasonably quick reload. It's not quite in range of my 150s. You do realize there's a Minikaze sailing right... he doesn't, I think. No, he doesn't. And that is is it a dead New York? Yes, it's a dead New York. Okay, well done, Minikaze. Now he's coming over here. His torpedoes reload very quickly, so I'm just holding off on the main guns until he decides that he wants to turn. Do you want to turn? Do you want to turn? Okay, he is giving broadside to everybody else, so at this range, I'm just going to kill him. Okay, that's a dead Minikaze. You played well, sir. You've played well. Okay, that leaves the New York and me. And they're down to 3 ships. So there's a battleship, there's a destroyer around in the cup. I think we've got an AFK player back there. So hopefully the destroyer can hold against the other battleship. Let's try if we can get the Black New Mexico killed. And because he's on less than half hit points. But I think the New York has decided that he wants to play with the Congo. Okay, so I'm going to try and at least take the fire from the New Mexico. And see if we can get this guy dead. And if the New York can prevail against the Congo there, I really want to get this guy killed if I can. Oh, that was disappointing. Yeah. Oh, he's shooting high explosive at me. Okay, never mind. No, he's not actually a danger to anyone other than himself. Why are you firing high explosive at me? You're firing at the broadside British battleship. You're in New Mexico. Do you know how much damage you can do to me? Use the armor piercing. Because you can do this sort of thing to me if you use the armor piercing. Okay, the destroyer on our cups seems to be on top of the battleship situation back there, hopefully. I can't remember what it was, but hopefully he is. Because that AFK battleship on our side isn't going to help, and that dispersion was just absolutely dreadful. How's it looking over here? Okay, you've lost the fight against the Congo. Oh, well then. I'll deal with it. Oh, almost though. That was a nice hit. Okay, I'll kill the Congo and then I get back to the New Mexico. Give me a second here. I just need to turn ship around. Turning ship around on this thing is much faster than the guns. Okay, that's a dead Congo. And then we go back and try to kill the New Mexico, who's playing very defensively back there. But let's see if he figured out that he should have used the armor piercing by now. What is going on in our capture circle? No, he's still firing high explosives. Alright. What's going on in our capture circle there? He's going forward again. Oh dear, the New York killed the Visby. Okay, it's a minute. He's not going to be able to cap. The problem is, if he's starting to contest the cap, we're not going to have points income. And if he manages to kill the AFK battleship over there, that's a problem. I don't think he's got enough time. But we're also not winning because we're not ahead on points. And we've got 40 seconds to kill that Black New Mexico. Come on, kill. Die, you... will it please die? 35 seconds. This is going to be a draw, is it? No, the Wispy takes down the New York. He must have flooded him and the New York is flooded out. That gets us ahead on points and we've won the game. Perfect. Because I'm not sure I'm actually going to be able to kill that New Mexico. He turns out to be extremely... Okay, RNGesus says no again because the dispersion goes everywhere. Come on, secondaries. Come on. Oh, and the secondary dispersion says no. Most certainly not, sir. We're not going to be having any of that. But yeah, even there's no chance that... there is no chance that he is going to win this. Maybe if he had been firing armor piercing, that would have been a different story. But this way, I think... I'm not sure if I sunk him there, but... yeah, that was close. Well done, the Visby. Without that flooding, without that permaflood, it would have been a draw, probably. Because I don't think I managed to actually kill the New Mexico in the end. Yeah, 5 citadels. Yes, this is sort of the sort of thing you can do in the British. Yeah, the Black New Mexico survived. In the British premium battleship, the Warspite. Not so much on the tech tree battleships, but definitely on this thing. Don't ignore the armor piercing on these ships. And yeah, maneuverable she is. And she's an all-around fun tier 6 battleship. So this is a good ship to have. All right. So hopefully that refreshes everything a little bit on the Warspite. I'll be doing that occasionally with really, really old reviews. I think I've got to probably next to the Oktyabrskaya Revolucja and the, what was it called? The meme tier 5 Soviet destroyer. I forgot. The thing with all the guns and all the torpedoes. I've got to do that one again. All right, that's it for today. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.